Hey guys, welcome to day 30 of the Pantry No Spend Challenge. And today we'll be making a just add water bread mix that you can add to your pantry. Personally, I love just add water mixes. It just makes life easy when you don't have to pull out a recipe card. You can just read the instructions on the jar, how much water to add, whip it together, and have either buns or a loaf of bread. The bread that we'll be making today is kind of a universal bread mix. It can be used for either sandwich bread or for dinner rolls or for burger buns. However you want to use it, really it's just how you shape the dough when it's finished and then baking it and having something delicious to eat. Real simple. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to do it. The kids can even make bread. You don't have to worry about something being left out, like they forgot to add the yeast. So follow along. I'm going to get a jar and we'll start adding our ingredients. For ingredients today, we're going to use flour, sugar, powdered milk, and a little bit of salt, and of course yeast. The powdered milk we're going to be using is freeze-dried milk that we made. If you want to know how we make our freeze-dried milk in February for the Freeze Dry February challenge, we're going to show how we make our powdered milk. So you can follow along with that. But we're going to just take all these ingredients and I'm going to layer them. I'm going to do 2 jars just because I need 2 more for the shelf. Well, actually what I'll do is I'll put 1 on the shelf and then we'll use 1 to make some bread. That way you can see what it looks like when it's finished. The trick with this is to make it shelf stable. I need to separate my yeast from the salt, definitely, because salt is going to kill the yeast. And I also want to keep it away from the sugar for the most part, because I don't want it to activate or start eating the yeast. As long as we keep our jars dry, everything should last for at least a year on the shelf, if not more. Most of this stuff is very shelf stable. So let's start filling up our jars. We're going to start with 1.5 teaspoons of salt. We want that on the bottom because we want to keep that isolated from the rest of the ingredients. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of our powdered milk. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. Next, I'm going to add 3 1/2 cups of flour. Now this, we're going to have to work a little bit just to get everything to settle. And it's going to be a tight fit in this quart-sized jar, but we can tap the jar and get everything to fit. And it will. I've made these before. Trust me, we'll get everything in there. And last, we're going to add 2 1/4 teaspoons of active yeast. And that's it. Okay, and with that jar finished, I'm just going to put a lid on it. I'll label this, make sure I know when I made it and what it is. I don't want to confuse this with some other mix that may be on the shelf. And like I said, if things are getting real tight when you put in that flour, it's going to be full. Just bang the jar, tap it all down. What we don't want to do is mix the ingredients up in here. Keep them layered, that way the yeast stays on the top and is isolated from the sugar and from the salt. And this is ready for the shelf. Let me make 1 more jar and then we'll take one of these jars and we'll make it into bread. Okay, I've got my 2 jars done. This one's going on the shelf. We sealed the top and I labeled it, what it is, when we sealed it, and just instructions: add 1 1/4 cups of warm water to make this up. So what we'll do is take the first one we made. I'm going to pour this into we're not going to be proofing the yeast or anything fancy. All of this is just going to be add water, mix it up, and make bread. So I'm going to pour this into my bowl. And then I'm going to add 1 1/4 cup of warm water. And bath water warm, you know, warm to the touch. You don't want to scald yourself because you don't want to scald the yeast. And then we're just going to mix this all together. And I always start with a fork inside of a bowl to get this going. Incorporate all the pieces until I have kind of a shaggy dough mix. And then we'll be transferring it to our mat and finishing mixing it up. And then we're going to start the kneading process. We'll knead it for a few minutes just to get all of the ingredients incorporated. We don't really have to do a serious 5-minute knead on this. Not this type of bread. Okay. Good enough. I brought it all together. So what I'm going to do is dump it right on my mat here. And I'm going to finish this by hand. This is not kneading. And I think I may have mentioned this in another video, previous video. This is still considered mixing. So when I'm working on the counter here and I'm bringing all these ingredients together into my dough, if a recipe calls for 5 minutes of kneading, that's not what we're doing. We're not there yet. Kneading starts once all these little bits and pieces are incorporated and the dough is thoroughly mixed together. Then you can start your timer and do however long you need to as far as kneading goes for that recipe. For this recipe here, we pretty much just want to get all the ingredients mixed together. You can see it's starting to come together and it'll seem sticky on your hands. Just keep going. This is a really simple dough and it comes out really nice, where even though we didn't have oil as an ingredient, it really isn't sticky once you start bringing it all together. Okay, and now that I've got kind of all the little pieces and parts are coming together and it's starting to come off of my hands, I'm going to call this mixed. So now we're going to knead it for just a couple of minutes. And the way I knead is simply squish and roll, fold, squish and roll some more. And just do this for a few minutes until the dough, instead of looking chunky like this, comes together and has more of a smooth texture to it. And once we're at that stage, we're going to put it back in the bowl and let it rise for about an hour. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes and the dough has completely come together now. Now I could keep kneading it if I really want to, but I don't think it's that important for this dough. It's fairly smooth now. It's all come together. It doesn't fall apart when I stretch it and bend it. Pieces aren't breaking off. So I'm going to say this is done, at least for the first part or first stage. So now what I'm going to do is take the bowl. I'm going to put just a little bit of oil in my bowl. If you have a spray, an oil spray, you can use that. You can use butter. Use something to grease the bowl so that our dough doesn't stick to the bottom. And then we're going to take our dough. I usually put it in here and kind of roll it around a bit. And one trick that I like to use is I'm going to put a shower cap on this to hold all the moisture. And we're going to let it sit someplace warm for about an hour to rise. If you don't have a warm spot, a good trick is you could turn your oven light on. As long as your oven's cold, you don't want to use an oven that was just recently used for baking where it's hot. So a cold oven, just turn your oven light on, pop your dough in there and close the oven door and let it sit for about an hour. Just that oven light alone is enough usually to bring the temperature up to a little over 100 degrees. So it'll be warm enough to rise your bread. I'm just going to put ours over near the wood stove, and I'll be back with you in about an hour. Well, our first hour is up. Our bread just came out of the warmer, and it's almost doubled in size, maybe a little bit more than doubled. So I'm just going to dump this out. And although it rose and looks nice and fluffy, we're going to crush it back down again. A lot of people who are new to making bread think this is kind of a shame. You know, it rose so nicely. Why you smashing it down? It's just one of those things. You got to do it. You got to. All right. So now what I'm going to do, here's our dough. It's super, super soft from that rising, and it's not sticky at all. I'm going to divide this into 8 even parts because we're going to make 8 rolls out of this. So normally I would measure these. I'm just going to split it in half, and then I'm going to split each half in half, and then I'm going to split each quarter in half. And hopefully my rolls come out to about the right size. If any of these are obviously smaller than another, I'll just steal from the bigger one and stick it on the smaller one. I'm going to roughly try to get 8 balls of dough that are about the same size. Okay, and then once I have that, super simple, we're just going to roll the balls and tuck from the bottom up and in. And what this process will do is it'll put all the seams at the bottom. So we end up with nice smooth rolls on the top. Okay, and then once I've got that tucked and I have a nice smooth ball, I can take all of that I've been tucking at the bottom, pinch it all together, and that's the bottom of my roll. I'm just going to put it down and give it a little smush. And you want to turn this into about a 4-inch burger patty, about that size, just like a little burger patty. I'm going to put that on a greased pan, and I'm going to do that with the remaining 7 balls. And while I do that, I'm going to keep it covered with a tea towel. I'm just going to put a towel over the top of this so that my dough doesn't dry up. Once I get all my patties on the tray, I'll bring you back. All right. And I just finished my last one. So they're all on here. Now, as you're going, you'll notice the first few that you put on are going to shrink a little. And that's okay. Don't worry about keep smashing them and stretching them out. If they need to shrink a little, that's fine. I'm going to cover the whole thing with a tea towel. And we're going to let this sit. Usually it takes about 30 minutes for these things to double in size. They're going to poof together. And just right when they start touching each other is what we're looking for. And again, that's going to vary from pan to pan. If you're using a much larger pan, they're not going to touch each other. And if they rise that much, so they've gone way too long. I'm just going to wait for these things to double in size. Normally, like I said, it's about 30 minutes. But with all the winter storms we've been having and the heavy pressure, it's dry in the house, it's wet outside, dough isn't acting the way it should. It may take me 45 minutes to an hour. We'll see. I'll bring you back and I'll show you what it looks like before we put them in the oven. Okay, my bread has finished its second rising. Everything's kind of doubled in size and the buns are starting to poof up and touch each other. So I'm going to keep this covered until we're ready to go into the oven. This is the stage where you're going to preheat your oven to 420 degrees, and we're going to bake these for 20 minutes. Once they start getting golden brown on the top, that means they're ready, and we'll take them out of the oven at that point. I'll show you what mine look like, and we'll make some burgers. Actually, I almost forgot to mention, if you're going to do an egg wash or a butter wash on these before they go in the oven, This is the time to do it while your oven is preheating. So for these, I'm going to put a little bit of butter on the top of these before they go into the oven. This stage or this step is not 100% necessary. Butter is going to give them a buttery flavor and keep them very soft. An egg wash is going to make a shiny, glossy finish over the top of the buns and hold in the moisture and make the buns a little bit more moist, a little bit longer. So both of them have their own reasons for doing it. If you don't do this step, that's perfectly fine too. This is just a preference, but this is the stage where you want to do this if you're going to do it. So I'm going to finish buttering the top of these, and then I'm going to get them into the oven. Okay, we just took the rolls out of the oven, and they look great. But I'm not going to be able to cut one of these open until they have a chance to cool down a bit. So I'm going to move them onto a cooling rack and just let these things cool for about 10-15 minutes. Once they're cooled down, we'll get one of them cut open. You can see what the inside looks like. And me and Marilyn can make our lunch. We're going to have a couple of burgers. Okay. And I'll see you in about 10-15 minutes. Well, the buns had a chance to cool down. They're still really warm, but I can cut into one of these without burning myself. And I'm just going to give this a quick slice open. See if they're steamy still. Cut it all the way around. And here's the inside. They're nice and soft. And ready for a burger. That's what I think. I'm going to cut 2 of these up. We'll make a couple burgers for me and Marilyn for lunch. But these buns here, they could be dinner rolls. This could be made into a pizza crust. This can be put in a Pullman pan and made into sandwich bread. It's a very, very flexible dough. They can be used for pretty much anything. Go ahead, give it a shot. And make it first. Try it, see if you like it. And if you do, just know that this is something that you can put in a jar, suck the air out of it, put a lid on it, and put it on the shelf. And it's good for at least a year. I don't know. It could be even longer. I haven't had one on the shelf longer than a year. But give it a shot. They smell amazing. I can't wait to have lunch. Anyway, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.